Faruk Bhai. Yes. Check, check, check.
Good morning to one and all. A very warm welcome and a pleasant welcome to all of us. Today, the second day of the Association of Indian Universities West Zone Meet at Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Mumbai. Day one has given us insightful, interactive sessions during the day with an entertaining evening to end by the dusk, to place us here by dawn with much more energy and enthuse to share and care amongst universities, processes, and policies. To start a new day with yet another new session, what best can be the theme, if not NEP 2020, Future of Work and Education? NEP brings in new ideas, policies, brainstorming, integrating, culminating diverse ideologies, all put in and churned together to emerge blooming and spread the essence or the fragrance into the future. With this welcome, I welcome all the dignitaries for the first session of the day, Implementation of NEP 2020, Future of Work and Education. As usual, to chair the session, we have amongst us Professor Nitin Karmalkar sir, NEP 2020 Steering Committee, and we have 4 stalwarts to be on the panel for the session. I take the pleasure of inviting Professor Nitin sir onto the dais. We welcome him as the chairperson for the session. Professor Nitin sir is currently the chairman of the NEP Steering Committee of Maharashtra State and former Vice Chancellor of Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune. He was also the head of Department of Environmental Science and Department of Geology, is also a well-known scientist in the field of igneous petrology. With more than 25 years of teaching and more than 30 research publications in various national and international journals, he is actively involved in academics and research of studies and research and recognition committees for geology and environmental science. He is a council member, Geological Society of India, Bengaluru, and fellow Maharashtra Academy of Sciences, India. And in 2005, Dr. Karmalkar received Professor C. Naganna Gold Medal of the Mineralogical Society of India, Mysore, towards his contributions in the field of alkaline magmatism of the Kutch region, Gujarat. Sir, we welcome you and thank you for being with us today. May I request our Registrar Gilke sir to do the honors in felicitating sir. Thank you, sir. Professor Victor Gambhir, sir. He is currently the Vice Chancellor and President, JECRC University, Rajasthan. Professor Gambhir has also worked as the VC at Maharishi Markandeshwar Ambala, JECRC University, Jaipur, as a Pro-Vice Chancellor and Director Planning at Manav Rachna International Institute of Studies and Research. Sir, welcome. Joint Director in Technical Education Department, Government of Haryana. He was instrumental in executing 2 World Bank projects for development of technician education and Haryana and Technical Education Quality Improvement Program in Haryana for capacity building, quality and efficiency improvement worth more than 250 crores, a big deal. His research area includes institutional ranking, accreditation, and quality in education. He is member of American Society for Mechanical Engineers, senior member of American Society for Quality, fellow member of Institution of Engineers, India, and past president of Haryana State Chapter, and life member of Indian Society for Technical Education. So we welcome you, and we thank you for joining us on this beautiful morning. I once again request our registrar, Gilke sir, to do the honors. Thank you, sir. Dr. Neerja A. Gupta is the Vice Chancellor of Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. Earlier, she served as Vice Chancellor of Sanchi University of Buddhist Indic Studies, Principal of Bhavans College, Gujarat. Welcome, ma'am. And she has been instrumental in the development of Department of Foreign Studies at Gujarat University, Ahmedabad. She was a member of the Inter-Religious Dialogue Committee constituted by the Revered Pope and spokesperson of the Citizenship Amendment Act. Professor Gupta is the recipient of several prestigious awards, including Bharat Kirtiman Padak 2023 for World Books of Records, London, Aaj Ka Karamveer Award, National Talent Search Award, Bharat Manthan Award, Atal Bihari Vajpayee Rashtriya Samman for contribution in diaspora studies by Indian Political Science Association. We welcome you, ma'am, on this day, and we are honored to have you today with us. May I request our registrar, sir, Professor Gilke, to do the honors. Welcome, ma'am. Srimati Monica Garg IAS from Uttar Pradesh, 1989, is presently the Additional Chief Secretary, Social Welfare Department and Minority Welfare and Muslim Waqf, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Welcome to you, ma'am. She was earlier posted at Additional Chief Secretary, Higher Education Department, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Monica IAS is 1989 batch, belonging to Uttar Pradesh cadre. Having held many important posts in various departments, she has worked in the education sector for more than 14 years. She was the force behind successful implementation of National Education Policy 2020 in UP, and her model was adopted by many other states. She has a rich experience across all sectors of education, from preschool to college education to research and innovation. An administrator by profession, but an educator and educationist at heart, she is the architect of Team UPAI and the designer of the campaign AI Literacy for All. The video lectures developed by Team UPAI have received an overwhelming response and have given a new dimension to AI education itself. She will talk about the higher education and skills in the era of AI in line with NEP 2020. We welcome you, ma'am, and having you amongst us is a privilege. May I now request our registrar, Gilke sir, to do the felicitation. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Yet another stalwart we have amongst us. Professor Gangadhar Shirude sir, Honorable VC, Sri Balaji University, Pune. Welcome, sir. I stand tall yet humble to speak about Professor Shirde sir, as no words equal his stellar presence in the academia and educational institutions. Sir, we heartily welcome you and we are honored to have you here amongst us. I request Registrar Professor Gilke sir to felicitate Professor Shirde sir on this occasion. With this welcome note, the stage is set. NEP 20. May I request the chairperson to start with the session and then followed by the panelists. Thank you.
Am I audible? Yeah. Very good morning to one and all, and it's indeed a pleasure to be with you all for this wonderful session, implementation of NEP 2020, Future of Work and Education. I'm grateful to the Secretary General AIU, Dr. Mrs. Mittal Madam, my fellow member in the steering committee, as well as the Pro-Chancellor of this university, Rajshekhar Pillai sir, Sharma ji, the President, and distinguished audience. There's no point in fact, getting into the documented part of NEP, because we all know, since the document was declared in 2020, we are in 2023. So you all must have participated in many of the sessions, understanding about the NEP. Now we are in the implementation stage. And especially in the state of Maharashtra, in fact, we started a little late in 2022. It was the previous Chancellor, as well as the Governor of the state of Maharashtra, Sri Bhagat Singh Koshyari. He took the initiative and formulated a steering committee so as to help basically the various different stakeholders in smooth implementing of this particular policy. This was done in the almost a year before, in the month of December 2022, and we are almost in the December 2023. So initially I'll discuss or rather we'll share what has been happening in the state of Maharashtra, and then obviously the distinguished dais, in fact, is full of the expert people coming from various different states that perhaps would throw light on how it is happening in their own states as such. NEP basically is a game changer, I can call it. And from right to education, we are slowly moving to giving right education. That is perhaps is the most important characteristic feature of this particular policy, making it very multidisciplinary in character and trying to diminish all the basically boundaries or walls that we had created among various different faculties. So in the state of Maharashtra, in fact, after having discussion deliberations with all stakeholders, including students, parents, teachers, principals, various different management of various different institutes, vice chancellors, pro-vice chancellors, deans. So it's been perhaps almost a monthly meeting that we are having with all these stakeholders. In fact, one of the session was also hosted by Somaiya, very much over here, wherein we could speak to the principals of the autonomous colleges. State of Maharashtra is obviously, you have more than, I think, 32 lakh students every year get enrolled for their graduation. And then if you look at the structure as such, more than 3,000 odd colleges, and many of them are aided. So roughly around 1,300 colleges are aided colleges and the rest all are private. And then we have both the professional as well as the traditional education. There are a couple of engineering colleges, majority of them are private. So it was a gigantic task, in fact, to take them along and make them implement this particular policy. So after having discussion, deliberations, the kind of basically structure guidelines provided by the University Grant Commission, in fact, at the state level, 4 more different committees were formulated. One was headed by the present Vice Chancellor Mumbai University, Ravindra Kulkarni, to work out basically the credit structure, although it was given by UGC 120 for 3-year degree program and 160 for 4-year degree program. But after having discussion and deliberation with the stakeholders in the state of Maharashtra, we in fact actually gave a capping for 3 years. It is 120 to 132 credits. And for basically 4-year degree program, it's going to be 160 to 176. And within which obviously are various different verticals that major, minor, VEC, SEC, then all different basically OJT and all different verticals were actually included. And then it was a humongous task, first of all, to take them in confidence. If you intend to actually implement it in its spirit, the mindset needs to be changed, especially of the teaching community, because they are always bogged into basically the workload. That is what a topic very near and dear to them. And obviously with increase of basically so many verticals, the workload was obviously slightly getting increased as such. So having discussions and deliberations with them, we decided to have finalized this particular credit framework. And then we are trying to take care of basically very different aspects like the IKC, Indian knowledge system. Then apart from that, the on-job training, internship and skill. Because some of the colleges are to a great extent are located in the remote part of Maharashtra, where obviously there are different issues like where will they send their students for skilling? Where will they provide the on-job training and so on and so forth? So after basically having consultation with the state of Maharashtra, especially the principal secretary, who is very dynamic, Rastogiji, and with his basically support and the support of the entire cabinet, we are coming out with the policy basically document, which is obviously presently the session is on. At the end of the session, the document would come out, basically the policy document on OJT and skilling. In recent time, the state of Maharashtra has also started a skill university. And we are trying to basically take all these stakeholders, especially for the OJT, in the industries, NGOs, social organizations, and many more, in fact, so that actually the implementation becomes very easy as such. Apart from that, very different courses are getting created. And like you have a Swayam platform at the national level, we are in the process of creating a Mahaswayam at the state level, so that some content, online mode can be provided wherever basically there's a deficiency of staff and faculty. So those courses, in fact, can be shared, making use of this particular online platform. And wherein basically the Mumbai University, Pune University, and the Shivaji University, Kolhapur, they in fact, because of their NAC grade, obviously, have the required sort of a permission to operate such kind of platform as such. So we are creating this Mahaswayam through which, in fact, we are connecting with various different industries. Especially, we had an inter ministerial the secretary meeting as such, wherein we could bring in all the various department that comes under ministries. So wherein the student can be sent for their internship as such. Initially, in fact, we decided actually to implement it in the autonomous colleges. We roughly around in the state of Maharashtra have 85, roughly or 85 to 90 autonomous colleges, and especially in the traditional courses, and there are about 52 in engineering. And then from last year, we started implementing it initially in basically these autonomous colleges as such. So this is a kind of a basically experience that we are gaining, and through which from this next academic year, we'll be implementing it pan-state for all the different colleges as such. And obviously, through different meetings, we are to a great extent taking care of all different verticals, including the Indian knowledge system, because that's a key area, and to a great extent, people actually are going wayward. We need to give them a proper sort of a guidelines. What is exactly meant by IKS and how do we integrate it in the curriculum? And that is what we are presently working on. Maybe in another 10-15 days, the guidelines or maybe some couple of modular kind of a courses of IKS would be provided to all different colleges also. About skilling, as I said, we already had a meeting with the Maratha Chamber of Commerce, Maharashtra Chamber of Commerce, and through which, in fact, we have a good connect with the industry wherever it is feasible and possible. We are actually trying to make use of them in providing the necessary internship for the student community as such. And then rest all the thing, basically the kind of basket that are required so as to make it more multidisciplinary, the major and minor, and apart from that, many other courses, those baskets been prepared, and actually in autonomous college, the implementation has already begun as such. So this is in nutshell the story of what is happening in the state of Maharashtra. Obviously, barring 150 autonomous colleges, we'll be implementing it from the coming academic year, next year. And the preparations are more or less done, sort of. We are fine-tuning, in fact, whatever little hiccups here and there are there, especially the workload part, we are taking care of that. And I'm pretty sure with all these efforts, in fact, it would be a sort of a proper implementation of the policy in its spirit, not like the choice-based credit system once upon a time we created, and which actually, in fact, never gave a choice to the student. The choice, in fact, my way is highway. That is the way teacher community most of the time works. And therefore, whatever they knew, they actually passed it on to the student, which I believe will not be the case with the new education policy, especially since every vertical is being taken care of. And therefore, a real sort of a multidisciplinary kind of education would begin in the state of Maharashtra. So with this, basically, I end here and request my fellow members, panel members, especially Gambhir sir, to in fact throw light on how it is happening in their area, in their state. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, sir. Thank you very much. Sabhi ko namaskar. I'm grateful to Association of Indian Universities for providing me this opportunity to put forward my point of view on implementation of National Education Policy 2020 and its impact on future of work and education. I will request the organizers to put PPT on. Can you please put on the PPT? It was just tested just before this session. Yes, thanks. Thank you very much. So, I would like to retrace all the education policies which have been so far adopted by the Government of India quickly to show that all the policies which were made by the Government of India, they were made through committees having the best available resources at that point of time. And all policies were rational, relevant, but unfortunately, the gap remained between what was planned and what was implemented. So next slide, please. So in November 1948, Government of India appointed a commission to examine the state of university education. It was headed by Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, and it is popularly known as Radhakrishnan Commission report. I will not go through much details into this, and this is not very well known committee. A committee was constituted in 1952 under the chairmanship of Mudaliar Commission, and it was to examine the school education. And their major recommendation was, that time transition was from high school to university. So they recommended that secondary education should be introduced. And then further they suggested that 30% of the student at lower secondary level and 50% of the student at higher secondary level, they should have vocational courses. Equal opportunities should be given to, say, girls, SC/STs. So inclusion, that was recommended. And then it was envisaged that within next 10 years, we will have secondary education throughout the country. And then in next, please. In 1960, from 1964 to 1966, there was a D.S. Kothari committee. Based upon the recommendation of that committee, first national policy of education was laid down in 1968, which called for radical restructuring and proposed equal education opportunities in order to achieve national integration and greater cultural and economic development. This was the committee which recommended that, as per constitution, all boys and girls below the age of 14, they must have the right to education. They should be given free education in the country. This committee also recommended 3-language formula, English as a subject, Hindi as a national language, and the language of the state. So all the 3 languages should be taught to the students. It was a recommendation of this committee. And this committee also recommended that Sanskrit should be taught at school level and as well as on college level. I think it was not implemented in letter and spirit. Then in 1986, another new education policy was laid down by the government led by Rajiv Gandhi. Policy called for special emphasis on removal of disparities and to equalize education opportunities. The policy called for expanding scholarships, adult education, recruiting more teachers from SCs, incentives for poorer families to send their children to the school regularly, development of new institutions, and providing housing and services. Through this midday meal, that became the reality. And moreover, the policy also called for creation of rural university model based upon the philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi. Then in 1992, government led by P.V. Narasimha Rao, they notified a program of action, 1992, again approved by the parliament. And this called for conducting entrance examination for admitting student into the professional courses and JEE, AIEEE. So these NEET was there. All India pre-medical test was already there, but these tests were introduced on the recommendation of this committee. And then this NEP 2020, which has come with deliberation with large number of stakeholders, almost for more than 3 years, starting in 16, and this policy got notified in 2020. It calls for, instead of say 10+2 education in school, it calls for 5+3+3+4 system, and preschools, they have now come under the ambit of school education, which were not there earlier. And when we talk about the guiding principle, next slide, please. Next. 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 So
Slide change.
Acha, I can do it. Okay, thank you.
Next and back.
Okay. So, so guiding principles, I think they are well known. Everybody has gone through this. So I would not like to go in details, but we have taken the best practices almost for all top countries in the world. Our professional education systems comes on the pattern of US. Vocational education comes from countries like Australia, Singapore, New Zealand, Canada, and some of the features have been taken from European universities. So we have almost tried to adopt best practices from all the countries. One of the important aspect was huge reforms in regulatory system. Unfortunately, that has not come. Higher Education Commission of India, it is almost 4 years when this committee was notified, so it is yet to come. But UGC and other regulatory bodies, they are doing certain reforms at their own, and most of those have already been implemented and are at various stage of implementation in various states. So I will come to the impact of once this policy is implemented, then what is impact? What will be the impact on work and education? There is a disclaimer at this stage that most of the observation which I'm talking, they have been taken from various reports and studies which have been carried out in India and abroad. So theme of the session is that how implementation of national education policy is going to impact, but there are two other very critical factors which came almost simultaneously. One was COVID-19 pandemic. It came in 20, and another was very fast advancement of technology. So all these three things are impacting the role of future of work and education. So the technology which has come very fast and which is impacting this work and education is the components are artificial intelligence, machine learning, generative AI, virtual and augmented reality, robotic process automation, Internet of Things, big data, blockchain, 5G, quantum computing, smarter devices, and many more. So how they are going to impact the workplaces? More employees will be working from home. Companies will invest heavily on health, hygiene, and safety. Companies will continue striving to increase diversity, equity, and inclusion. Workers will demand better treatment for themselves and their communities from their employers. Organization will re-examine how they impact the environment, and technological rapid transformation will continue, forcing companies to rethink how to integrate people with machines. Middle management people, they will have different responsibilities. It is now expected that with hybrid type of working spaces and hybrid type of education, the responsibility of the manager will increase. So traditional managerial success was based on the ability to manage and evaluate employee performance. This has now shifted. HR executive will hire and develop managers who are poised to be great coaches and teachers. Upskilling and digital dexterity will outweigh tenure and experience. There will be more focus on cognitive skills, and employee will have to apply creativity, critical thinking, and constant digital upskilling to solve complex problems. And employee data collection, this will expand. People now, managers will be monitoring the employees in terms of their biorhythms, nutritional requirements, and exercise need. And so technology will be used to look at the health of the employees. Remote work-life balance will reveal challenges, and people will work for purpose and passion and not for just money. Earlier, people used to look for doing some social impact after they retire. But now with the advancement, say in the social processes, they will be contributing for social upliftment while they are still working. And so when we talk about future and education, let us look at some critical relevant data at this point of time. We have 4.3 crore students who are enrolled in about more than 1,200 universities and 54,000 colleges. More than 1 crore students pass out from higher education system and they are looking for gainful employment. About 29 crore students are enrolled in schools, out of which 1.5 crores drop out and don't join higher education system. Our GER at elementary level up to class 8 is almost 100%. From 8th to 10th, it becomes approximately 80%. From 10th to 12th, it becomes 57.8%, and higher education is 27.3%. So almost 73% student, they drop out and they reach the higher education. So while we talk about providing employment, we are not only talking about providing employment to 1 crore people who are passing from the university system, but also to the 1.5 crore people who have dropped out at school level. And say most of the say when we talk about this 1 crore student who are passing from higher education system, almost 1/3 of them have done their BA in various humanities and social sciences courses, and most of them they join the queue for preparing for entrance tests for government jobs. And if we examine the number of government jobs which are available, there are 4.6 crore employees in central and state governments, which is a rough estimate, and about 1.5 crore vacancies are there as on date. Every year, 15 to 20 lakhs people retire and they are required to be replaced. Governments are not willing to fill up all posts because of pressure on their budget in terms of salaries and pensions. So the jobs available in government, leaving PSUs, they are roughly say 35 lakhs. But there are 2.5 crore people who are to be employed jobs. So that's why Mudaliar committee in 1952, when population was 37.2 crore, they had recommended that vocational courses should be introduced at school level so that students are able, these passing out people are able to earn their livelihood. And say the total number of employees, if you talk about based upon the working age population, which was 95 crore in 2021. So almost 6% jobs are there only in government sector. So for rest of the people, we have to make sure that we provide them the right training at school and college level so that they become productive. And NEP says that vocational subject will be introduced at the 6th standard, and we will provide, but a report which I saw, it mentioned that in 2017, only 5% of the school students, they were getting vocational education. So a challenge before the higher education will be that these 1.5 crore dropouts, if they don't come to higher education, we have to reach out to them to provide vocational education, because technical education is at the higher education level, and there we can provide them some vocational education if school doesn't have that kind of infra. And so there is a global shift in the need of skilled workforce proficient in multidisciplinary learning. With the rise of big data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, many unskilled jobs worldwide may be taken over by the machines. And machines, we never thought of that machine will become so proficient that they will be working as colleague with us. And there is a possibility that many jobs will be taken over by the machine, as it has happened in the engineering manufacturing sector. So if you take the example of Maruti Suzuki, when they established their first assembly line, for manufacturing 40,000 cars, there were close to about 2,000 employees. Today, they have capacity to manufacture 2 million cars. The production has gone up by 50 times, but employment is 16,000. So employment has increased only 8 times. Production has increased 50 times. So there is a kind of jobless growth happening in the engineering sector. So there will be a the second shift will be, there will be a move towards less content and more towards learning about how to think critically, creatively, solve problems, develop 21st century skills, and absorbs new material. Third shift, which is expected, will be reconfiguration towards building life skills and character that enables learner to be ethically rational and compassionate. We had a session about the human skills yesterday. Fourth shift will be a focus on high quality interdisciplinary research across fields that must be done in India and which can't be imported. Fifth shift would be education rooted towards enabling access, quality, and equity, which has been part of all education policies so far. Major shift will happen in evaluation and assessment of learners at all levels, moving away from rote learning to competency, project, outcome-based, and experiential learning. Hybrid learning will become essential at levels. UGC now permits up to 40% courses to be 40% credit to be earned through online, including platform like Swayam. And most of the universities, they will take this opportunity, and hybrid, this will become part of that. So another part is that it has happened in most of the advanced countries. Degrees has become delinked from the jobs. So if people have skill, they get the employment. And this will also come soon to India. In that case, people will drop out. Say now UGC permits that people may drop out after year 1, year 2, year 3, and many of them will not come to formal education, and they look for reskilling through some other means, through some continuing education. So definitely, as it has stressed the higher education system in US, our system is also going to be stressed by dropping out students when they get jobs without insisting on having a formal degree. So these are the observations which I found from various studies. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Professor Victor, sir, for giving the entire statistics and what would be the impact of NAP in future to come. In fact, he spoke about the dropout and other aspect. That perhaps the reason why this multiple entry exit has been made a key issue of this particular policy as such. We all know that during COVID, in fact, UNESCO mentioned roughly around 95 lakhs, that comes to about 1.5 million students completely lost the track of education. So to avoid this particular thing, and especially with the girl student, many of them get married early, and therefore instead of 7 years window, whether we can make it to 10 years, that is what another proposition that we are putting forth. And to a great extent, we are discussing it with the UGC authorities. Basically, lifelong learning is going to be the key thing. And as he said, perhaps the degrees would be relinked from the job. Instead, in fact, the working community should be given a priority in taking credits basically of their choice rather than going for a degree. So whatever basically skills they require, they can come back to the school or to the college and perhaps can acquire only those credits rather than going for a degree. So those are kind of changes basically we are expecting to happen very soon. So with this, basically I request Madam Garg, who is the Education Secretary of Uttar Pradesh. In fact, UP perhaps the state wherein the implementation began much early. And I met the governor of UP, and she was mentioning about, in fact, there's a complete sort of a connect that they have established right from Anganwadi to higher education. And then what other basically best practices they have, it is better to learn it from the Secretary Higher Education, UP State. Gar, madam, please.
Thank you. I hope it is not too tall now. Okay. Good morning, friends. It's indeed a pleasure, in fact, always a pleasure to be with the Association of Indian Universities. And I must thank Mrs. Pankaj Mittal, the Secretary General, and the chair and the President of the association, Shri Dr. G.D. Sharma-ji, for having me in most of the conferences of AIU. As they said, I am basically an administrator by profession, but at heart, I am an educator and an educationist. Yes, I am, because I have been working in the education sector for more than 1.5 decades. Well, to talk of the topic of today, implementation of NEP 2020. In Uttar Pradesh, I have talked about the implementation of NEP 2020 in the previous conferences as well, how we have implemented it in Uttar Pradesh. I talked about the revision of curriculum to bring in holistic, multidisciplinary education at the degree level. We have introduced this, as Professor Kamalkar was just saying. We introduced NEP 2020 from the session 21-22, and we had the concept of minor subjects, vocational subjects, skill-based courses, experiential learning in every subject from the academic session 21-22 itself, because we started work in 2020 and we held virtual meetings almost every day with academicians all over the state and even from other states to revise our curriculum. We put a strong ecosystem for R&D in place. And we also went in for teachers training and orientation on large scale. We had recruitment of faculty also to make universities, state universities, self-sustaining. We gave them the option of having constituent colleges. That is a very big policy decision that Uttar Pradesh government took in 2021 to give constituent colleges to the state universities, which other states can also learn from. In fact, I'll give you an example. I recently was in MPJ Rohelkhand University, Bareilly, to whom we have given 13 college campuses, built up buildings as constituent colleges, new buildings, in which they have started teaching program in 9 of them. And the remaining 4, they will start from this academic session. And these kinds of initiatives are helping them not only become sustainable, but also become multidisciplinary. For example, if they did not have a course of agriculture, they introduced one such course in one of these campuses. So it is helping them become Meru, it is helping them become multidisciplinary, holistic, and the impact of implementation of NEP 2020 in Uttar Pradesh is visible, because today, as on date, more than a dozen universities have A+ or A++ NAC accreditation. In fact, today morning only I got a message that Purvanchal University, Jaunpur, has been awarded A+ status, which is again because we established centers of excellence, we helped them take up many research projects. So I have talked about all this in the previous conferences. Today, I will focus more on the future of work and education in view of the changing needs of the hour, and especially in view of in the era of artificial intelligence. Friends, an effective education system has the ability to transform a country through human resource development, through efficient human resource and effective human resource development. Currently, over half the population of our country is below the age of 25. So, an improved education and teaching is important for a young nation like ours. I'm going to talk about a technology which is very powerful and extremely disrupting, which offers great opportunities and choices, and at the same time poses serious challenges. We know the Government of India has put AI at the core of its vision for the Indian decade and has declared its intention to make India a global powerhouse of AI. It is indeed a matter of pride for us that this year, India is the lead chair of Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, and on the occasion of which a summit was organized by Government of India from 12th to 14th of December, in which I was also invited as a speaker to talk about our work that we are doing as Team UPAI. As she just mentioned, UPAI is Team UPAI as we call it. Now, since artificial intelligence is so important today, it has become imperative not only to include it in the curriculum, which most of the universities are doing across the country, but it is also important to understand its nuances and its impact on the education and the job profiles. And I will precisely focus my talk on that. Let us first look at how AI is reshaping some of the routine activities of higher education. We can see its impact on the administrative support system. AI tools are being used for recruitment, for admission, and for retention of students. AI tools are very effective at sifting through thousands of applications and giving a perfect match for students and a university. It also helps administration in decision-making process. Teachers are using AI tools for automated assessments, for practice opportunities, for personalized tutoring and feedback and content preparation. Tools are being used to generate content, to generate lesson plans, PPT, write code, reconfigure writing processes, and also detect plagiarism. But it is important for everybody, for all teachers to understand, to grasp that AI is not going to replace the educators. It will only complement and enhance their abilities. By automating the routine tasks and offering real-time data analysis, AI systems will enable teachers to focus on what they are best at, what they do best. That is, mentoring the students, providing guidance, emotional support, motivation, and fostering creativity and critical thinking amongst the students. Students are also using AI tools these days on a large scale, I would say. We will talk of the controversial ones later on, but let us focus on the tools which are extremely beneficial for the students. Some students we have noticed are shy of asking questions in the classroom. So such students can resort to personalized tutors who provide them immediate automated feedback on their writings and their learnings. AI also facilitates access to high quality, up-to-date educational resources. Virtual assistants and chatbots are available, which can provide instant and accurate information on any topic, enabling the students to access updated knowledge in real time. AI tools are also helping a lot in research. They are used to sift through large data to identify patterns, build models, recommend relevant articles, and prepare manuscripts for publication. Well, the NEP 2020 emphasizes universal education. It emphasizes equitable and inclusive education to allow students from all backgrounds to access education in the same way. With AI-empowered education, students with different abilities can benefit from natural language processing tools. There are tools available that convert written text into audio and other accessible formats. So students with different abilities, with special abilities, can use these tools and get an equal opportunity to have higher education. Also, AI, as we all know, has the facility that courses can be delivered in local languages, thus allowing institutions to cater to students from across the country. Well, we need to understand, the universities need to understand that these are the tools that we must accept and incorporate into our policies and pedagogies. Strict dismissal procedures, lockdown browsers, or banning the use of these platforms are not viable solutions. We have to embrace these tools, we need to embrace these tools and integrate them into our pedagogies and policies. Friends, till now I have talked about AI as a product, AI as a tool in education. We must also understand that artificial intelligence is emerging as one of the most powerful agents of change in education sector, presenting the sector with unprecedented challenges in academics, unprecedented academic, social, ethical, legal, and economic challenges. I will discuss these also one by one. The ethical issues are, we all know, privacy is an issue. Privacy is an issue in areas like student surveillance, plagiarism detection, and personalized learning. In fact, personal information is something which is very private. Most students do not want their private information to be shared with others, like their learning styles or their learning capabilities. Plagiarism is another fear, which all of you must be talking about and discussing in the campuses day in and day out. ChatGPT is a tool which is being talked about at all forums, and it is poised to disrupt academic scholarship. Even though AI is still far from replicating the complex metacognitive abilities involved in scholarly writing, yet it is feared that ChatGPT and other such tools will hinder creative out-of-the-box thinking. In this scenario, institutes will have to think of something out of the box, will have to think creatively, will have to consider maybe changing the activity altogether, where students, they are asked to work together, to collaborate, and to learn from each other, rather than just producing a paper or an essay. Such scenario calls for an AI across the discipline, across the curriculum approach. AI, artificial intelligence, is a science and technology based on disciplines such as science, mathematics, computer science, biology, psychology, linguistics. The field AI originates not only from engineering and computer science, but it is strongly influenced by these other disciplines such as philosophy, cognitive science, neuroscience, and economics. So stakeholders ought to explore an AI across the curriculum approach by engaging departments and their faculty development centers to identify ways to integrate current AI applications and competencies into the curriculum. AI competencies should be transdisciplinary, reflecting the various areas of expertise involved in AI development. That is machine learning, deep learning, programming, data science, writing, ethics, business management, psychology, etc. This type of transdisciplinary approach would allow universities to lay the groundwork for a holistic and integrated approach to AI education, while fostering collaboration and partnership between faculty from different disciplines. Universities should also consider establishing an interdisciplinary longitudinal research agenda to examine the social, ethical, and pedagogical challenges associated with AI, making sure to include experts from humanities and social sciences in these discussions. It is imperative that universities take the lead in identifying and understanding the complexities and challenges that AI will bring to the academic landscape. Institutions must create a framework for ethical governance of AI. Digital literacy, or the capacity to properly analyze, appraise, and use the technology and incoming information, has become recognized as a vital skill set for students in the 21st century. It is therefore necessary to modify the curriculum in order to support students to acquire this crucial ability. Information literacy is the single most skill to develop if we are to counter the misinformation that these convincing AI-generated text can produce. And I'm happy to share with you that Uttar Pradesh introduced digital literacy as a compulsory subject at the undergraduate level in the year 2021. Well, we all know that people are scared of the new technology, of this emerging technology, but at the same time, they are anxious to know about it. So institutions need to have campus-wide discussions about the impact of AI on all fields, including the administration, the teaching, the learning, and the research. It is crucial to develop administrator and faculty members' understanding of the promises and limitations of AI. These discussions must be transparent, and they should address issues like data collection and ownership, intellectual property, data storage, security, and the rights and privacy of various stakeholders. In this context, I would like to mention an initiative that has been taken in Uttar Pradesh by Team UPAI. Team UPAI has, under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Team UPAI has taken the initiative of demystifying AI. Our video lectures are making the masses aware of the technology so that they stop looking at it as an enemy and they start using it as a tool. Our lectures are available on our website, teamupai.org. In the month of October 2023, this year, we launched a series of 22 videos on AI literacy and awareness on our website. They explain what is AI, IoT, machine learning. They also talk about the uses of AI in our daily lives, how Alexa listens to you, how smart gadgets operate, how Google Maps work, how you get to see the preferences of your own price range, and your own taste on the screen when you're shopping online. They also talk about the ethics and biases of AI. One of the video talks about the AI tools available for teaching and learning, which has been found very useful by the teachers. These lectures are very easy to understand. They are meant for the common man and even for the teachers from arts and commerce background. Science teachers may all know about what is artificial intelligence, what is Internet of Things, but the other teachers of other faculties will find it very interesting because complex concepts have been explained in very simple words in these lectures. The effort, I must share with you, has received an overwhelming response. In fact, I'm myself fascinated by the journey of Team UPAI, how it has evolved. The feedback received on the site, you can see, is very encouraging, saying that these videos have given a new dimension to AI education. The viewership is increasing by the day. As on date, the hits and views on the website and YouTube are more than 500,000 in just 2 months. We have repeated hits from different states and even from other countries like the US, UK, UAE, Netherlands, New Zealand, Australia, and even China and Japan. Team UPAI has declared these video lectures as open educational resources. Civil society has taken upon itself to translate them into other languages, and work has already commenced for Urdu and Punjabi. Department of Technical Education has made this module a part of their extracurricular activities, their internal assessment, emphasizing its importance by assigning credits to it. Uttarakhand Academy of Administration, Nainital, has decided to include this e-module in the training curriculum of their administrative officers, their PCS and IAS officers, and so has Uttar Pradesh Academy, UPAM, Lucknow. Many schools, colleges and universities have downloaded these videos and are playing them in the smart classrooms, thereby benefiting numerous teachers and students. UPSC-RT is offering an online qualifying test since 10th of November. Thousands of teachers and other professionals have registered for the qualifying test, have enrolled for this, and about 900 have obtained the completion certificate as well. This project is a very good example of policymakers, administrators, and academicians working together with the stakeholders. This work, I must emphasize, has been done. The experts agreed to do this work pro bono, free of cost. There was no government project for this. It was only personal initiative and personal interest. So we have experts from Central University, NIT, state universities, and even from schools, basic schools. In fact, CNBC TV18 recently had a global AI conclave in Bengaluru, where they invited me as a speaker to talk about this Team Upai. So I would urge all of you and your teachers to see our website, teamupai.org, and I would urge them to also enroll themselves for the qualifying test. Because concentrating on the difficulties will only serve to obscure the numerous advantages that AI has to offer. Rather than disregarding AI, educators ought to dedicate some time to investigating and experimenting with this novel technology, also assisting the students to do so. We, as I said, we have uploaded our educational videos on our website, www.teamupai.org, which are available absolutely free of cost. UPAI is UPAI, Uttar Pradesh Artificial Intelligence. Team Upai believes that as the curtain is lifted, as a citizen learns more from these videos, he will stop being scared of the technology. And when he recognizes that he is using it every day in his daily life, he will start thinking of ways to use it more. We believe that when the foundations are built on clear concepts, they pave the way to innovation. And we hope that some minds will get ignited and will develop useful AI applications indigenously. I would again like to emphasize that educational technology is not only about technology. It is the pedagogical, ethical, social, cultural, and economic dimensions of AI ed that we should be concerned about. Now, to talk of the shifting job profiles that my previous speaker, Professor Victor Gambhir, talked about in detail, I will only restrict myself to artificial intelligence because the subject has already been covered a lot by my previous speakers. The advent of AI threatens not only to alter how subjects are taught, but also what is to be taught. Emerging market realities could result in major changes to college curriculum. The World Economic Forum projects that AI will create 97 million jobs by 2025. 97 million jobs will be created within the next 2 years. That is the good news. But the bad news? AI, the World Economic Forum anticipates that 85 million jobs will be lost due to AI. So we need to distinguish which are these 85 million jobs and which are these 97 million jobs. We all understand that AI is not limited to software. It spreads rapidly across sciences, engineering, manufacturing, and services. No industry or service will remain immune from it. IBM has already announced shifting some of its workforce to automation and AI, especially those related to coding and to roles which do not involve customer interactions. Google is of the view that bot can be offered an entry-level coder's job. Amazon feels that bot is good at answering customer calls. Bots are already being used for giving standard answers for the FAQs. We must understand, we must accept that coding, programming, and software development jobs can be done faster by AI tools than by the human beings. Why? Because these tools are good at number crunching. In this context, companies are redefining their job profiles, and universities and policymakers will have to give opportunity to the workers to develop new skill sets relevant to shifting economies and labor markets. These frontier technologies are paving the way for highly skilled jobs that required creativity, analytical thinking, and human interactions. University needs to work together with the industry, and they need to focus on anticipating these 97 million job profiles. They need to adapt the curriculum to meet the market demands. They need to carefully assess how AI will affect the labor market in the future. This analysis should lead to a rethinking of educational pathways to prepare students for a hybrid labor market in which AI will play a significant role, where probably humans and robots will be working side by side, as my previous speaker also just mentioned. Universities should collaborate with industry, as I said, and also with the public sector to create integrated, transparent, and impartial AI programs. In addition, universities also need to focus on honing interdisciplinary skills, merging innovation, arts, and technology. As I said, AI has grown out of a diverse range of subjects. So our curriculum also should focus on merging innovation, arts, and technology. Artificial intelligence, we know, demands a diverse set of skills for designing hardware and software, collecting and visualizing data, training and creating models and algorithms, apart from business process awareness. Applying AI to business challenges requires a deep understanding of the specific issues facing an industry, and this requires the ability to make informed decisions. For example, let us take the example of, if we want to, let us talk of cybersecurity. Now, for cybersecurity, whereas on one hand you will need AI experts, on the other hand you will need a person, an expert who understands the issues of cybersecurity. So only AI expert, only a prompt engineer may not be able to do the whole job. The experts, the domain experts will still always be required. So strategic analytical thinking, effective communication skills, adapting to new technologies, and continuous learning, unlearning, and relearning are vital in AI environment. Hence, we need to revamp the educational architecture of our country. On the momentous occasion of the Independence Day 2022, when our Prime Minister added Jai Anusandhan to Jai Jawan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Kisan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, it highlighted the necessity of advancement and innovation in technology in the Amrit Kal. Early stages of development dependent on physical labor. Skills pave the way to New India, and India at 100 will be shaped by creativity and innovation. Every blue collar and white collar job that becomes obsolete needs to be replaced by more well-paying jobs if we want to harness the demographic dividend of the world's most populous country. The policymakers and universities need to work towards a major overhaul of policies and curriculum in favor of enhancing technology literacy and AI education in order to bridge the skill gap between those who can and cannot work with the emerging technologies. We need to understand that AI cannot replace humans, but AI will certainly help humans with AI knowledge to replace those who do not possess this knowledge. I repeat, AI will help humans to replace those humans who do not have AI knowledge by humans who have this knowledge about this technology. To conclude, we do not want a band-aid solution. As with digital technologies in general, digital data cannot offer a neat technical quick fix to educational dilemmas, no matter how compelling the output of AI might be. We have to realize that data and coding are not an absolute solution, but only a relative source of guidance and support. Friends, education is too complex to be reduced solely to data analysis and algorithms. Paving the way ahead for the future of AI in higher education requires a strategic and holistic approach that integrates education, planning, and research. And that has to come quickly before AI races past us. We need to find rapid, significant solutions for a rapid, significant change. The full consequences of AI development cannot yet be foreseen, but it seems likely that AI applications and AI discussions will be a top educational issue and technological issue for the next decade or so. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Madam. Indeed, it was a pleasure to learn basically the best practices and especially the AI, how basically is going to change the pedagogy, the industry market, and so on and so forth. In fact, UGC to a great extent through their RUSA program had advocated setting up of Section 8 companies on the university campuses, especially those universities having graded autonomy, so that basically the footprint of the industry gets increased on the campus, and there would be a wider sort of interaction starts happening between academy and industry. And there are plenty such examples, but time is a bit short. We started a little late, 10:15. In fact, the session was from 10 to 11:30. We already actually have reached to 11:30. So without basically getting into detailing these various practices of UGC and all that, I straight away request another basically subject expert coming from Gujarat, because Gujarat is another state wherein the implementation began much early. So I'll straight away request her to share the best practices, what they had adopted in the state of Gujarat. Madam, request is to make it in brief, and then subsequently followed by Suresh sir. He will be taking another 10-15 minutes. So I hope it would be 10-15 minutes late. Bear with me. Thank you.
Namaste, Sadar Vandan. Respected President AIU, Professor G.D. Sharma ji, Secretary General Pankaj ma'am, honorable colleagues and dear participants. Well, the saga of higher education and the future of India is a long story and it has many talking points. So from where to pick up so that the story can be cut short, as been asked by the presiding sir here. We are talking of future, and future doesn't come in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. When Macaulay set the tone in 1835, sir, it's almost 200 years that he planned a country. Today, when we are asked to use NEP and look at the future, we have to look minimum for about 200 years. So we are the people who have to shape up so many things through NEP. Now, the second thing is the data. More than Satyamev Jayate, it is Tathyamev Jayate. And the Tathya are very, very different. When we are talking of 2047 Viksit Bharat, we have to see, yesterday also Madam talked about the aging country, but it's not the only aging country. Actually, fortunately, by 2041, the entire demography would be that in each home, the age would be between 15 to 64. That means more of the working population would be there and depending population will be very less. That is a very, very fortunate side for any country, and that would rapidly take it to the Viksit Bharat. The third reality is that today, those young faces who are at the campuses, today, those who are the agents, because we won't be living till that time, sir. I don't know, means should be living, but I know we won't be. Apart from that, these faces would be there. So today, who are the agent who are helping us in the implementation as a stakeholder, they would be the beneficiaries. So let us ask them only what type of India they want, what type of Bharat they want, because we are at the threshold of implementing NEP 2 years, 3 years, just like that. So what do they want as a Viksit Bharat? I would like to start with Nida Fajli, sir. He said, हर एक चेहरे में छिपे हैं 10-20 चेहरे, जब भी देखना कई बार देखना. And we are talking of multidisciplinary, sir. Actually, multidisciplinary has been the soul of Bharat, right from the beginning. Our scientists were the poets, sir. They used to write the scientific applications in Chand. We have never segregated the philosophy from the song or the scientific sutras from our wisdom. Today, as I see it, we need chikitsa. Health is primary. लेकिन सर उससे पहले वैचारिक चिकित्सा की आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि जब तक हम वेस्ट के यार्डस्टिक्स पे अपने आप को एक्रेडिटेट करते रहेंगे तो वो इकोनॉमी जो इतनी तेजी से दुनिया की 5वीं इकोनॉमी बनी है उसके यार्डस्टिक्स कौन यूज करेगा? सोसाइटी इज नॉट फेलिंग. हम वॉल्स में खड़े रहकर जब देश निर्माण की बात कर रहे हैं तो वॉल्स को खोलना पड़ेगा, उन गेट्स को खोलना पड़ेगा और फिर उससे आगे हम जाएं तो ही हमारी जो सूत्र लिखा गया शिक्षा अर्थ करी यश करी च सुख करी, तो सबसे पहले अर्थ करी तो होनी ही चाहिए. शिक्षा से उपार्जन के साधन मिलने चाहिए, मगर वो नौकरी ही हो ऐसा कहाँ लिखा है? वो उपार्जन जो यश करी हो और सुख करी हो, ऐसे उपार्जन के लिए आज हम एनईपी लेकर चले हैं और इसीलिए आईकेएस की इतनी जोर शोर से बात हो रही है, इसीलिए एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की, स्किल्स की और वर्क फ्यूचर की बात हो रही है. There are certain issues. The first issue is emotional distress. I would say greater is the degree, the greater is the depression in our youth. Because it's narrowing us down, the opportunities, the knowledge, and the positioning in the society. We have to give them multiple experiences before they are out of the campuses. So this emotional distress can be substantiated with the life skills. Each semester can be presented with one sort of life skill, but a long narrative of life skill combinedly with the industry, with the families, and with the educational institutes. Together, we have to take care of this emotional distress. The second is gross enrollment ratio. When we are talking it, we can't insist everything in the class, in the institute. We have to go beyond the class, beyond the institutes, and beyond the degrees. Just now, because yesterday also this point was made up, ma'am also said, I'm not repeating, but definitely, for example, our non-organized sector doesn't ask for degrees. Similarly, the organized sector should also come out on the basis of experiences rather on the degrees. Then, of course, there is a Prakrit saying, sir, Nijo Gyanam. Nijo Gyanam yani knowledge that actually progresses. So it's a continual progress through the knowledge, that environments we have to create instead of closing it, shutting it down on the degree level. This is graduate, this is postgraduate, this is doctorate. These are the models that we have invited from the West. Somewhere the integration of the knowledge with the degrees is important. Another thing is very important. Again, I'm quoting the sutra, Ritasya Pantha. Ritasya Pantha means follow the natural order. Just like when we sleep, we don't have to take care of our breath. The nature takes care of the breath. The sunrise, the sunset doesn't take care. Some scientist doesn't switch it on and off. Similarly, if we give a model to the society where society becomes responsible, it's not the responsibility of government or the institutions to give the jobs. In fact, in our society, jobs is the last thing. एक किसान कवि हुए हैं, महाकवि घाघ, वो कहते थे जरियाने और कासने खेत करे जिनकोए, बैला दो बेच के वो नौकरी सोए। यानी अगर आप कांस में और कटीली झाड़ियों वाले खेत को जोतने जाते हो तो उससे अच्छा है बैलों को बेच दो और नौकरी करो। Naukri was the last thing we would have expected. Today, I'm sorry to say, our private institutions, even before giving the admissions, they have a banner 100% job guarantee. You have not even given the admission. What type of job guarantee are we giving to students? So we are befooling the entire society that job is the aim. Job is the entire, we have to evolve the ecosystem where naturally the society integrates. Why I'm saying so, sir? No government can solve 100% problems. No government can give you 100% grants. Plus, government jobs are hardly 5%. 95% of our products, the consumer is the private sector. What contribution the private sector has in our campuses? I am including our campuses, the private universities also. Even in their campuses, the private sector has no contribution. When I say private sector, that means society. They have to get involved into this whole ecosystem so the sense of responsibilities will be shared and then the work future with education will change, because today we sit in the board of studies and prepare some syllabus which is so disjointed with the industry. That has brought our country to such a level that an MBA, after spending lakhs of rupees, is happy to get a 15,000 per month job because naukri mil gayi. So we have to come out of this sorry state. That's why I started with emotional distress. Then, of course, we have to find out some honorable position for research. I'm sorry to say research is a combined responsibility today with the professors, with the lecturers, with the research scholars, but there is no independent position of research. A society which is deprived of research, a society which doesn't take care of the social needs and requirements and then do research and give the outcome to the society will always wait for someone to find the solution. Unless and until we highly incentivize this field, research is to be highest incentivized field, and then the areas of research we have to find out. Ma'am said AI, NEP says IKS. There are so many things we have to look after. Then only we can plan for 100 or 200 years of Bharat. Of course, we have to give the other. One second, sir, I'm just concluding. The three more significant challenges are identifying the risk of replacing human work with technology. I'm not repeating, it has been taken care of. Blue color and white color jobs were mentioned, but now there is a huge possibility of green color jobs. With the green color jobs, we have to identify what can be the fusion technology. We are not disregarding 4.0 industrial revolution, which is coming up now. That is the demand of our new society. But unless and until we integrate everything and with the mental binaries are to be curbed, then only we can go ahead. Coming to IKS, it is such an imperative thing that 2 credit course is not going to solve the question of our entire civilization unless and until each semester, each subject has the first particular paper on IKS related to their subject. So there is a linear understanding of the IKS in each subject. Otherwise, we have been fighting with Tasmati, because we know in Texas, someone has put up the patent for Basmati. We are also fighting for power yoga. They are patenting. When we were doing crossbeat, something comes from USA. No, Desi Bharatiya Gai sabse achhi hai. When we were talking of wheat mission, someone comes up with millet missions, and we become late, though it is our own entity. The progressive sectors in IKS are too many. cultural economy, temple economy, yatra economy. They are the hugest. UNESCO and World Bank gives extra grants for our intangible cultures. We are unable to evolve that system. You know, sir, the Katha tradition, the Pravachan tradition, see the presence of the people and how we can use that to educate the society. So we have to go back to Charak Sangita, where he says Natya is the only form to curb agyan. We need to understand what is to be developed, the borderless education. I'm just concluding. Then, of course, shorter courses, shorter degrees, these long time evolvements in 4 degree program and 5 degree program, 5 years degree program, they are not going to solve unless and until we give them early skill education. Experiential learning, lifelong learning, then learning from everywhere. Our Taittiriya Upanishad says that I am not the only teacher. You will find them in each path of your life. So why can't we present some ecosystem? And of course, we have started. NEP is a blessing because it has opened so many doors. Replacing, of course, lectures. I can see, sir, it's a sorry thing again that these 2 credit programs again have a sit down examination. How you can judge IKS on a 25 MCQs and how you can judge these life skills on a sit down examination. Our examination has not changed, whatever we might have changed in the classroom. So somewhere we have to go out of the box. Formative assessment in place of high stake examination is very, very important. The curriculum integration is important. We have been talking industry to be part of curriculum, but it is beyond industry that we have to go for futuristic planning. Then, of course, it will lead to workshops and trainings. It will lead to career counselings, and it will also lead to technology and innovation. I'm not repeating soft skill. It was done yesterday. One last thing which is very important is our feedback mechanism. We are just paper tigers in feedback. We simply want to see only which is being given us as good feedback. We are not taking feedbacks from the families, from the society, from the industry, from those practitioners who are using our product, that is the students. That feedback can only make us realize where we are following. We are making follies. Just last line on Gujarat. Gujarat has a ecosystem for entrepreneurship and startup, not because I can't take the credit, though my university has a Section 8 company and it is doing very well. We have a 5-year follow-up and monitoring system also, because we have so many stories of a startup being the failures. But for 5 years, we monitor, we nurture, we take follow-ups. And then after 5 years, when we are confident enough that they are now able to fly in the sky, then only we leave them. I'm not saying that I don't want to take credits on university. Gujarat itself is an entrepreneur society, so they understand the importance of entrepreneurship. But definitely for next 200 years, we have to set the tone, which is, of course, would be the story of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta, for stressing the importance of Indian knowledge system, as well as the connect university should have beyond the campuses. In fact, the society can connect, the industry connect. That's going to, in fact, play a very important role. So we are coming to the end of this particular session with the last, basically, subject expert for this particular session. I straight away request Shivresh sir to express his views.
Good morning to one and all. Namo Nama. Chairman, Honorable Nitinji, and very learned and experienced the panelists, authorities of AIU, Secretary General Pankaj Mittalji, and the chairman as well as president and vice president, and all dignitaries of the dais. Match is already owned. One ball is remaining. And now either no run or 4 or 6, whatever is possible, that I have to do. NEP 2020 is a continuous process. And it's a process related with what mindset which we are executing, implementing as far as the results are expected, results are concerned. So many things has been discussed today as well as yesterday. All macro aspects has been covered from all economic, social, technological, emotional dimensions. What I want to mention specifically, I remember Arthur Barker, and he has mentioned very specifically that the vision without action is just a dream. Action without a vision just passes time. And when vision and action comes together, it makes a change. And today, the NEP 2020 is expecting a constructive, fruitful changes as far as the implementation is concerned. So many things has been mentioned, and I just want to mention 6 points at a macro level, and then what we did in our university and where we are, that I will cover within a few minutes. Nitinji, see, we all are highly cultured in Maharashtra, particularly in Pune, which is a cultural and industrial educational hub, automobile hub, IT hub. All hubs are there in Pune, and therefore more challenges are there. But opportunities are also there. And I'm looking towards the opportunities as far as the difficulties are concerned. 6 points which I want to cover, that is related with the 1937, the modern India, the dream of the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, was mentioned about a Nai Talim or the Bunyadi Talim. And what that Talim means, this is a perfect practice makes man perfect, and imperfect practice makes you more imperfect. NEP 2020 is related with to make all the perfections, whatever is possible, from different dimensions. And these dimensions has been covered by the remaining 2, that is related with the Nobel Son of India, the Swami Vivekananda ji. And so many things has been mentioned yesterday. The purpose of education is for man making, life building, character making. Now, NEP is covering all these particular different objectives with different type of the policies and expectations. Regional dimensions are different and challenges are different to the universities also. Private universities are having their own opportunities, but at the same time, meeting with these particular aims and objectives, that is also going to be a challenge. Now, as far as the implementation part is concerned, changes which has happened, which is going to happen, that we have to forecast. And accordingly, we have to incorporate all these particular changes in respect of the aims and objectives of NEP. So, for us, we have to understand at a micro level what are the specific expectations from the aims and objectives of NEP and how it is going to be viable as far as the fruitful results are concerned. And therefore, my simple saying is that is the Nai Talim as well as the purpose of the education itself indicates that the 6 salient features related with this particular NEP and whatever the historical revolutions which we had. That is a job-centered education, craft-centered education, value-based education, mass-oriented, self-supporting, self-sufficient, and self-reliant education. Using these words is very simple as far as few seconds are concerned. But implementation of it, there we require some intelligence. There we require team efforts. And therefore, in respect of implementation of the NEP, what we did at a micro level, particularly the private sector is concerned, and in a private university, that we have introduced these particular changes in the form of multidisciplinary approach. Now, this multidisciplinary approach itself indicates that it is not that opening of the different schools, that is the maybe humanities, law, commerce, management, likewise. But multidisciplinary itself indicates that opening the doors to the existing students as far as their hidden intelligence is concerned and their different type of the desires are concerned. There should not be an absolute wall in respect of that the science students will do only science or the art students will focus only on arts, but there should be the different type of the opportunities which we have to consider. Now, my panelist has also mentioned about the 2 credits. Now, it is not the number of the credits. It is related with credits along with how it has inculcated a positive attitude, a good leadership qualities, and better communication skills. Because after all, having degree is one aspect, but how industries are going to accept that, and that curricula has to be designed at the individual level of the different programs and the courses. Now, ABC, that is the academic bank credit, which is the another one. In my university, particularly at Balaji, Nitinji knows very well that the 90 to 95% of our total intake, which we have completed as far as the ABC is concerned, which has a different type of advantages to the students at a national level, particularly at the international level also. Then whenever we talk about the holistic approach, previously we were saying that the all-round development. Now we are saying that the whole-round development. And that whole-round itself indicates that the balanced personality which we have to develop, a good human beings which we have to prepare. Now, this preparation is not that easy as far as the sanskar or the culture is concerned. It's a continuous efforts which is required from stage to stage. And therefore, what we have introduced, that is for holistic approach, yoga, health and wellness center. And for that, in every semester, we are having the certain syllabus, curriculum, and its implementation. Along with their credits, this is a value addition and life balance program which we have introduced in our university. MOOCs, SWAYAMs for skill development, which will value additions, that is also included in respect of the adding into the value of our education, particularly the students, for acceptance of industries. See, in all our curricula, unless we are having the industry contribution or for preparing the syllabus, people should come from the industries. We should accommodate them. And as per their requirements, we have to introduce different modules in our regular syllabus. Unless we do that, then the utility of our degrees will not have any sense in respect of the earnings, any sense in respect of the acceptance. Then 4-year undergraduate program. It is not that easy as far as the society's acceptance is concerned. That is, the parents are also asking that previously the 3 years degree was there. Now, why my child should spend 1 more year and getting a 4 years degree? So here there is a gap which we require to understand in respect of what it exactly means and how it is linked with your PG programs, particularly PG programs for 2 years. And now once it is a 4-year degree, 4 years degree program, then it is going to be only 1 year. Now, Nitinji, the problem related with these challenges are That is the teacher-student ratio, mentee-mentor ratio, and at the same time, how the industries, how the people will accept these particular programs and how the holistic development of the students will take place. MOUs, which is a welcome feature as far as NEP is concerned. And having MOU for the sake of MOU will not work. How it is going to be practically implemented and inter-exchange in respect of the thought process, in respect of the knowledge and skills are concerned. And therefore, what we did MOUs with not only industries, but different universities, different organizations as far as NGO is concerned. And with the help of this particular, MOUs, we are having the types. And therefore, internship programs, projects, as well as the institute industry interaction, that is going to be more easy, and it has its own significance in respect of the value systems. Previously it was considered in my university, there was no holiday concept, as it is known to you. But now, Saturday and Sunday, these are the additional knowledge festivals which we celebrate. That is in the form of Saturday is a fully activity day. And that activity is concerned with the learning which is related with the development of soft skills, community development. And therefore, different type of the interactions took place every Saturday. Sunday, that is related with a Coursera day, that is the additional programs are concerned. And then the most important part as far as the implementation is concerned, that is we have to provide a very favorish environment in the academics, that taking leadership, entrepreneurship programs, as well as startups. And for that, we have established a separate department which is called as a Srujan. And in this particular Srujan, what we did, we are having an open discussion forum with the different type of the authorities in the industries, in the society, as well as the different philosophers and thinkers. So that gives her more opening as far as the new vision is concerned, and therefore opening the creative eyes is the only way, one way that the execution or the implementation of NEP is concerned. But it is not going to happen within a day. It is going to be a consistent efforts are there. And therefore, I repeat here, Udyamena hi siddhanti karyanina manorathe nahi suptasya sihasya praveshanti mukhe mrugaha. Unless we have a persistent efforts, it is not going to have the expected success as far as the NEP is concerned up to 2035 or 40. With this, I express my deep sense of gratitude to all of you for giving me an opportunity to share at a micro level what the private universities are doing, and particularly at the Balaji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Shivre. In fact, NEP is a very vast topic, and especially the implementation. We cannot just complete it in 1.5 hours time. So in fact, there has to be an entire day session. How do we implement it and all that? But thank you so very much, all the panel members, for sharing their best practices. All of you, in fact, have to a great extent added to our understanding, basically, especially for me, it is a learning part, since I'm chairing the NEP implementation committee. So perhaps some of the best practices can be replicated in the state of Maharashtra. In fact, state of Maharashtra have been doing many things for teacher development. There is a separate sort of academy that has been created, which is again a Section 8 company, and that training programs, especially for the teachers for implementation of NEP, are on. In fact, day after tomorrow, perhaps most of the vice chancellors, they are getting trained at Pachgani. So there are many things that are happening in the state of Maharashtra also, but time is very short. Once again, I thank all the authorities of Association of Indian Universities for giving us this particular opportunity, choosing this particular session, and in fact, making us understand the best practices from different states. Thank you so very much.
What a resonance. What a reverberating thought processes we had together today. Thank you so much to all the dignitaries present here. May I now request Professor Pankaj Mittal ma'am, Secretary General of Association of Indian Universities, to please come on to the dais to felicitate the dignitaries on the dais. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. Our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Before we break for tea for 10 to 15 minutes, I have an important announcement to make to all the dignitaries present here. The dignitaries can collect their mementos at the registration desk towards this side. While we move for tea towards that side, we are going to break only for 10 to 15 minutes as we are falling short of time and come back for the business session by 12. Thank you so much.